Welcome to the next episode of What Does This Button Do? Today we're going to be talking about the different paths you can take to get into the industry. So I kind of want to start with you, Andy Gray, and how you got into production.
Because it's been a long
baby.
That was coming.
long road.
That makes it sound like I really struggled.
If you can zoom in.
No.
It's taken a while because
can
of the
zoom
wrinkles and the greys. And
There we go. There it is.
It looks
That's
great.
that's what I was referring to.
It does.
Thanks. So yeah, I guess we've all taken very, very different pathways, haven't we, to get to basically where we all are now together.
Yep.
For me, I did a degree in media because I wanted to do. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, but I knew it was kind of in that because I loved media studies at school. I did for my A-level media studies project. I did a music video to a punk rock version of Nothing Compares to You.
It was in like, nothing compares.
Yeah, but like a punk rock version.
Do you still have it?
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
It's by Me First and the
Good.
Gimme Gimme Gimmes. Shout out.
Can you sing us a little bit?
No, you know the song. You just did.
No, but give us the punk rock version.
Absolutely not.
No, we'll just play it.
I might find it. If I find it, yes.
He's found it. It's
Anyway.
there.
We prepared.
Anyway, so then I really wanted to do media, so I went to university at Bournemouth, did like a general media degree, which I didn't really enjoy. Like,
What's that like? Sorry, is that touching on everything?
yeah, so it was like media and communication. Did a bit of journalism, bit of advertising, bit of marketing, bit of English literature.
Oh,
all
wow.
this stuff. It was a bit of everything.
Really was everything.
But I never, even in that, I didn't really find anything I loved. Like journalism was probably the one I enjoyed the most, so I kind of went down that route. Originally started working for a newspaper.
What were you doing at the newspaper?
I was writing news.
What?
But I didn't really enjoy the news side of things. I found it quite cutthroat, even at like local news. Like I didn't have that disassociation. Like especially when there's a human life involved, and it's like someone's son's died in a car accident, and so you've got to go and interview their parents and get a
tough.
picture and stuff.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do that.
No.
So I started wanting to do sport, and started doing a little bit of sports journalism. Didn't really work out for me back home in Jersey, so I did work experience at Sky Sports.
You did a bit of journalism at Sky Sports.
Not really. No,
We tried
don't you
to.
dare! Don't you dare!
That's going in there.
At the start of my journey at Sky, I did do a screen test.
We demand it.
Which
Yeah,
is
you
really
haven't
good.
seen it yet, have you?
I have.
Oh,
Well,
you
I've
have?
seen the.
Here's a
the
little
gif.
like.
That's enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
There-
fact that you did the classic news. you touched the
I knew
paper.
where I was, you see.
Can we say though you are brilliant at like?
I wish I
sort of
could do
thing,
it
though.
now.
Yeah, you are.
I wish
you,
I could do it now.
Sky Sports, you missed out because this guy, you actually are really good at like voiceovers and talking to camera and.
I love doing it now, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, guys. Okay, and
This path went in a different.
there was a
way.
bit. There was a bit that Brooke and Mike are referring to where I had to do a 1.5-minute ad lib at the end, and my ad lib
Do you wanna-
lasted about 1:10, and then I had 20 horrific seconds, which when you've got people talking in your ear and counting down is such a long time.
It's a
Do you want to
long
explain what
time.
adlib is to those that don't know what
Yes,
that
I
is?
had to make it up as I went along, so I was just off the cuff.
So you had someone in your ear and
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, I got to 20 seconds to go, and I was like, "Oh dear, I've run out of things to say." So I started
Panicking.
No, not. I didn't. I did start panicking.
I just had it in my head. You were like, I got 21 seconds to go. Just couldn't get out of head.
I got to the last 20 seconds, and I started talking about what was going to happen after the break, and I was like, "Okay, I've done it." And then I finished. As I finished saying what had left, I remember the director in my ear went 9, 8, 7. I was like, "Oh my god, I've still got 10 seconds to go," and I just froze. And you see on the camera, I just kind of look down the lens and go. As the camera then pans
so
out.
good.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I love it.
And that's the bit I've seen.
But it's like,
Just
it's,
that.
That's
it's,
enough.
it's just the you really see like your soul leave your body at that point. We've turned it into a gift now that we use in our group chat, and it just
Because I can picture them talking in your ear as well. You're just like, oh my god, nothing else.
Just this was my dream, by the way, that they're laughing about. Just so you know. This is
what a stupid dream.
So yeah, I ended up getting into sports presenting, sadly. Hopefully one day we'll get to making stuff that I can present, and then I can show you all I could do it. So then I started working. I was a runner at that time, just like getting scripts, coffees, teas for everyone on different shows, which was, you know, when you've been in university for 3 years, and you're coming in, and everyone else in that role seemed to be like just out of school, hadn't gone to uni, and they were getting in the industry that way. It was quite tough because there's a big 3 years isn't much, but when you're 18 to 21, it does feel like quite a lot, and you're like, why did I go to uni? I could have just come straight here. But it did end up getting me a lot of opportunities like earlier than maybe I would have done, and I started doing some producer work for the NFL, which was pretty cool. Like, I love
That's
my
right
American
up your
football.
street.
And
Do you want to tell everyone what your team,
Indianapolis Colts.
and did they win much?
Yeah, they're actually
Oh, they do.
the best team in the league at the minute.
Oh, they did
so
well. Oh, damn it! That really.
That backfired, didn't it?
Wow.
But, well, it does depend when this comes out. It could be an absolute dumpster fire between now and then. But so I started doing that, and the way it worked at Sky was that I would be the assistant producer sitting in, and I would get the clips ready, and then I would go and sit with an editor who would put my vision together. So I did that for a little bit, and then I moved into Soccer Saturday in 2012, I think it was, and I still do a bit of work for them now, which is 13 years later, which is pretty cool. So I've kept that relationship going, and what I do for them, I started off again as an assistant producer, like getting clips together, putting like highlights together, that kind of thing. And then one day I found out that the freelance editor, so Soccer Saturday has a staff editor, shout out Matt Sharp, who's been there the whole time I've been there. And then they also, on a Friday when there's a lot more work getting ready for the next day, they bring in a freelancer. And I found out that freelancer was leaving, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to figure this out because I want that job. Like, I kind of knew the team well, got on with everyone, probably outgrown the position I was in, but there was no permanent positions on the team, so I thought, I'm going to try this and see how it goes. So I basically sat in edit suites for the next month with the guy, his name was Pete Fielding, and learned how to edit Soccer Saturday basically, and taught myself how to use the editing software.
Was that paid hours, or were you doing
No,
it
I was
off
doing that
your
off
own
my own back, yeah.
Nice.
And then it came to, he left and I put my name forward and I got it, and I've had it ever since. It's probably that I've done that role for probably 10 years,
Oh,
which is pretty cool. So
very cool.
yeah, so that was like sort of going off my, like, obviously I had a great opportunity at Sky and there was loads of stuff going on, but I had to really push, and just at the end of the day, no one was going to give me that with the experience I had, so I had to go and sit there and figure it out and learn how to do it, and then sort of made myself employable for them. And like I say, it's worked out, and I've met so many contacts over the years who have helped us, that we've ended
100%.
up working with a lot. There's still a load of guys at Sky that I do work with now. That's how I met Luke O'Reilly, who we do a lot of, well, we've done the documentary with.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you need to see the documentary. Shout out Luke O'Reilly. How many times am I going to say shout out?
My God, it just, yeah,
It's getting annoying.
insane. No, sorry, that's...
Oh, it's insane how many times.
It's insane how many times.
I was like, that's pretty harsh. What a strange way to say that. But no, thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. Luke's done an amazing job. It was so much fun to edit. It's how I met Johnny Phillips, reporter, who we've done a lot of work with.
Shout out to Johnny Phillips.
But it's like, it's led to so many things, and like, and it gave me that grounding in sport.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to edit sport, and I've always like just
100%.
loved doing it. And
Yeah.
like, whether it's fast paced stuff, I do like, you guys know I prefer the long form. I love putting together a documentary, or even like a half an hour TV program, or even like for Soccer Saturday, a 5 or 6 minute feature. Like, I love that long form edit and storytelling. But there was also the opportunity to do the short form, snappy like, it's, again, I guess it is still storytelling, just in a different way. But yeah, so I, as I say, still with Sky now, but we met 2018. Well, probably 2017 we met, started working together in 2018, but that's kind of where the connection came, because you knew that I worked in editing, or you were told I worked in that, and that's how we kind of got together.
And we might not have met
that's it.
if you didn't go off from journalism into editing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I think like that.
You're like, my life would have been so much easier.
And then obviously over the years, as Ellis Gray's grown, I've scaled back with
Yeah.
Sky. But I think my journeys, where it's slightly different from you guys, is that I've pretty much been freelance since I finished university. Like
That's mad.
I've only
That
had,
Yeah.
I had sort of 5 months fully employed at the newspaper before I started doing that freelance. And then I only had 1 year at Sky where I was fully, and that was just on when someone was on a sabbatical.
Yeah.
So that was so since 2014, 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been a freelancer at Sky, and obviously before that I was a freelancer at the newspaper, and before that I was freelancer, doing stuff at uni. So yeah, it made it. I got used to that life really early, and got used to the idea of my every day is going to be different. My hours are always going to be different. I don't necessarily have a weekend. I don't know what a bank holiday is. I can't remember the last time I had a bank holiday off. For years, I worked Saturday. For years, I worked Saturdays. That only really stopped after COVID. So
So the freelance life is kind of all you've known.
yeah, definitely. So I think it's nice. Like I've never really had a boss. Like I had different bosses, different people asking me to do things, but it's been nice to be able to manage my hours. And there's scary bits.
I was about to say, has there been a time where, like before Ellis Gray, at least, or before you dropped Sky and we had Ellis Gray, were there ever any times where you're a bit stretched on kind of
100%
cash, like not many jobs coming in?
I think you all have probably experienced this in your journey into freelancing, but I really felt it in the start at Sky because I just said yes to everything.
Yeah.
There was this idea that, like we've talked about this on another podcast about saying yes, but I honestly would say yes because I was so scared of losing work and that someone would go, oh, he said no, so I'm not going to ask him again, that I just kept saying yes. There was a little bit of that when I first started as a runner. There was someone who was in charge. It used to be like if she'd ring you last minute, can you do it? And you'd say, oh, I can't, I'm not even in the country, or I'm elsewhere. And she'd go, all right, fine, hang on. Or you could even say, I'm sick,
savage.
I'm in hospital, I've got Alzheimer's, and she'd just go, okay, bye. And that was it.
Wow.
And then you wouldn't
No shout out to her.
and then you wouldn't get work for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Maybe we should shout her out.
I won't.
It's called a call out.
No, that is.
I won't, but so then you got to this mindset where you're like, if I don't say yes, I'm gonna just have to.
Yeah.
So, but soon I realized after a while that wasn't the case. But I think fear had just been put in me. So I used to say yes to everything, and I'd have times where I convinced myself that I'm happy to work. I'd rather work 21 days in a row and then have a couple of days off than do a normal 5-day week.
Yeah.
So I'd be working Monday to Sunday. I'd be doing like a late shift into an early shift into a day shift until they stopped that for HR reasons. But which was the right thing as well, because I would be finishing at midnight, going to like sleep in the car and then starting again at 3 a.m. and it was tough. So, but I just do all that.
God, yeah.
And then it was getting to the point where I was like, I was just burning out and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And
it's very easy though, being freelance to do that.
Because you almost feel like
you've got no one to tell you to stop or to go on lunch break. Or
that's true. Yeah. But you also you have this feeling where someone goes, like, if you're off the next day, you've worked 5 days in a row or 6 days or 7 days, whatever it is, and then you're off the next day, and you're like, oh yes, a day off, brilliant. And then someone goes, can you do a shift? And you're like, that's 300 quid. That's just to say. So and if I say no, I'm just missing out. Yeah. It took me a while to realize that you never have that money in the first place.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so that money, it's not like you've got that money and then someone takes it away from you.
Yeah.
So you have to and you need those days. Otherwise you just get sick and then you can't work.
And ultimately, we all went into this job to be able to pick our hours and also do something that we love.
Yeah.
So, but it always starts like that as well. It always starts with saying yes to everything, sacrificing weekends, sacrificing having like a day off. But you want it to get to a place, which I think it is for all of us now, where you're doing something you love, and you actually get time off to enjoy, you know, the money you've made as well.
Yeah.
But it is a struggle. It's a big struggle with being freelance. Is like, you know, you do have to, you know, the struggles never stop, and you do constantly have to try and find work, but constantly make sure you give yourself a break as well. Like, it's very easy to sit at home,
Burnout
I
is
think
real.
anyway, and like sit on the sofa and think, what am I doing? I need to be doing something. Like, this is not okay. But then actually, you know, thinking, nope, this is my time to do nothing. This is why I did the job. So I can actually
exactly.
have a day in the middle of the week where I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's taken me until very recently. Like, Brooks had to be like, just pick a time where you finish your day and like, just don't work on it.
Yeah, and that's
obviously
the other
you
thing
can't always, but
is finishing at a sensible hour, and because you want to make sure that the job that you're doing, you still love it. And if you're going until 10 at
100%.
night, and then, you know, sleeping in your car and starting at 3 again, you're actually like, well, why did I do this?
But also it takes a toll on like outside of work relationships. Like, whether you're in a relationship, romantic relationship or not, whether it's friends or family, the effect your emotions and health has on those people as well. Like, because if you're, say you've got a day at the weekend where you're going out with your mates, but you're absolutely knackered from a week of working ridiculous hours, you're not going to be able to fully enjoy yourself, and then your friends or family are going to be aware that you're not completely yourself. And so you have to be so careful not to overdo it. But I do think there's some people, Harry, who doesn't believe in or didn't know burnout is like real almost. because I think everyone almost hears this as like, oh, it's just that you're tired or whatever, but actually you get ill. Like, you can actually make yourself unwell, and then it puts you out of work longer. So you might as well give yourself that day off or that half day or whatever it is you need to recover, so you can go in fresh, and then you're just going to be looking after yourself.
I remember there was one time when I had shifts booked and I'd been in hospital the day before. So I had a stomach thing and I was on a drip and I was in agony and I was like morphine and on a drip. And the next day I went into work and I was literally like at my desk like this and thinking, I can't say I'm ill because then I won't get any more work. And then I remember the producer coming to me and said, like, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, fine. And then someone that I was working with was like, no, he's not. He was in hospital yesterday. And she went, why are you here? Go home now. And it was like, when she did that, it almost like gave you the, okay, these people are human, like they understand and they're not going to just...
Good wake-up call, almost.
Yeah, because you're like... And when you step back, you're like, obviously, they're not going to think you being in hospital is it's something that you're doing wrong. So, yeah. So, but I think the big turning point for me in terms of not just always doing every shift that came to me, I remember being so vividly being sat in my edit suite on a Friday night, which is I've just got used to. I work Friday nights. I love it because I love that role. But I had a shift booked on the Saturday and on the Sunday, and while I was sat in the edit suite on the Friday night, my friend's WhatsApp group was popping off, and they were talking about playing football on Sunday for my Sunday league team, and they were all going to play. And my mate, who was over from New York for just the weekend, visiting just for the weekend, that I wouldn't get to see, was then saying, "Oh, I'll get involved. I'll play." And I was like, "Why am I missing out on all this stuff? Like, this is all my mates are doing this together on a Sunday, like." And this friend of mine, Kyle, is back for just 2 days, and he's going to do it. I was like, I'm getting that shift covered, and I got it covered, and then I didn't book another Sunday ever again until COVID came, and it was all like working from home and flexible hours and stuff. But for a good couple of years, I was like, no more Sundays. And I don't do Sundays now either.
Yeah.
But
being your own boss, you unfortunately need to go through these experiences to not the drip and in hospital. Don't wish that on anyone, but like, you need to go through these experiences to then have boundaries, because the majority of jobs Monday to Friday, you know that on Friday you're finishing, weekend is yours. Like, so it's very good to have these experiences to just set yourself boundaries, because being your own boss, you don't know it until it happens.
So what
Yeah.
about you? You two met in college, right?
Yeah,
What were you doing in college?
I was doing BTEC sport, and then
Classic.
I went to Exeter University and did sports science, which was I loved it. I loved the course. I wouldn't change a thing, even though I'm not in that industry. It was very interesting. I loved the dissertation I did, and I do remember the first lecture in first year, and everyone came out of it with a white face and was just like, what the hell was that? Even people that went to college and did chemistry or physics, they came out and they're like, that was intense. And I was like, you're telling me? And I did BTEC sport, which was hard. Like, it was a lot of coursework, but nowhere near like what they'd done in college. And again, that was actually that downplays it, saying a general degree of many things, because there was a lot of intense modules in there. And it was a good eye opener. It was it was just very interesting. So I did that. And
Can I ask what your dissertation was about?
the effects of sodium bicarbonate on repeated sprint ability in football players.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
What was your conclusion?
It was inconclusive, but you laugh, but that's actually what you want from a dissertation, because it means you've got more to write about. So actually finding out nothing, it just meant I could go away and find all these studies to be like, yeah, that's why it didn't work. And you didn't have as much time to facilitate tests on people, and if we did have more time, then maybe we would have found more. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was probably the most intense 6 months ever, like the last part of my degree. But when it was over, I was like, I'm kind of sad, because that was really fun. So yeah, I did that, and then
Nothing to do with production in college or uni.
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went traveling for a bit, and I kind of turned my personal Instagram into like a travel page. I just was, and it just started off as like a fun thing. Still is, because I'm not a travel influencer, just on record. But my friends were just like, you're really good at taking photos. Like, they enjoyed following the journey. So then I came back, and that was a difficult time in my life, coming back from traveling and not knowing what to do, and thinking it would be really easy to find a job, and then realizing I don't want to do just anything. And at the time, I still didn't think of a freelance route or where I am today, but maybe having that mindset, I think sometimes is perfect for people like us in this role, because you don't want to settle for just anything. You want to actually do something you love. So I was like, I need to get a job anyway. So I worked at Decathlon, and I was just working in the shop, but doing photography on the side, working, taking photos of friends' parties or weddings. And my sister was actually doing wedding photography. So I went on shoots with her and was just like a secondhand shooter. And then COVID hit. And obviously we know the story, we've talked about it, that I did a shoot with you.
How old are you at this point?
This is 2019, 2020, so 24, 25.
And you still haven't done any video and editing?
No. So then COVID hit, and then I was furloughed, and the Staines Decathlon shut down, RIP, soon after that.
I enjoyed having that there at the time.
Yeah, it was a good store, very good store. Decathlon stuff is actually great. Anyway, veering away from that.
What was our first Decathlon?
So kind of didn't really do anything, I guess. Actually, I started doing a lot of like creative stuff at home on TikTok for
You did. I remember this.
with photography. Really cool stuff. Just like, I don't know, trying to show off, even though we're in lockdown and we can't really go far. you can do all this kind of stuff. And now looking back, a lot of it is very, very cringe. But
I don't know.
but
I
but
think
like
it's good.
also I like looking back at stuff like that because yes, it is cringe and there's nothing wrong with that, but it shows you where you've come from and where you are now. So yeah, and then Decathlon head office offered me a job in head office, and so I started working from home, and it was just in customer service. And I was like, actually, do you know what? I've been off work for 4 months. I could kind of do with a distraction from doing nothing. So very fortunate, I guess, and lucky because there's a lot of people that still didn't have work. So then I started up with them. Hated it. It was tough, but I couldn't get out of it because, you know, I was still doing photography on the side and not making really any money from it. And I couldn't take that plunge really. But then, you know, I started working with you guys more when lockdown lifted, and I tried to get into the media side of Decathlon, did a few projects with them, love them, but then they just kept telling me there's no money in this department, we can't take you on, which was just a load of shit because they kept taking on every Tom, Dick and Harry to do the back work for a social media, but not a videographer.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is so corporate, like such a corporate thing to do. Like, yeah, we'll give you a job because, again, like we feel like taking on a videographer, it's a risk because maybe they won't get the job done, but you need that to surely show off your products. So I did a great job for them, their words, not mine, but still just wasn't enough. And my department just took me to breaking point. Like it really
Yeah, I remember you.
destroyed me. And I think at that point I was in a good place with a few of my own clients and you guys to be like, do you know what? I live at home and that's a privilege already in itself. So let's bite the bullet and tell them to politely fuck off.
That's
Wait.
not polite.
So you would have been actually. I remember you
Thanks,
went
Mike.
freelance in. You went freelance in October.
October 21st.
So that. Oh, that was yesterday.
Was
That-
it?
So that would no, or is that today?
Was that today?
It's today.
Oh wow. There you go.
Holy shit! So that means you've been freelance now for what?
5 years.
5 years. No,
Wait.
4 years.
I
I was
4
gonna say
years.
yes.
Sorry, I was
It's
still
been 4
thinking 2020.
years. Wow.
4 years, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How exciting.
You reach me.
Wow. How
Yeah,
mad's that?
that's really weird.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
It's cool.
So, yeah, and then I guess,
Way to date the podcast, guys.
Keep planned.
and my first job was with a group of Instagram influencers called the Plant Boys.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I
And
literally just deleted their footage from one of our hard drives the other day. Yeah.
He's like, I really need that.
Oh no, from Vimeo.
and yeah, and I remember being on a call, and again, it like, I mean, I can say this now because I know that I did the job for them, and I haven't done any work for them since, but that's just because, you know, we both moved in different directions. But I was like, don't really know what I'm doing, but what they need, I can definitely do.
Yeah.
And I'll pick
You did a good job
pick it
of
up along the way. So I was like, yeah, like, fuck it, let's do it.
Nice.
And I remember I went to Barcelona because my sister lives there as kind of like a hurrah, I've gone freelance. And that was my first job that I found out about when I was out there. I was like, oh, it's looking good already.
Yeah.
Obviously goes like that. Didn't stay like that. But yeah, so then that was like my first bit of editing, I guess, where I was like, oh, this is quite nice. And then, yeah, I just started making, I guess, my own movies. That sounds weird.
Home movies.
No, I started doing like my own projects to practice, I guess, and learn editing techniques and yada, yada, yada. Here we are today, really. Yeah.
So your background definitely stems from just literally taking that hobby
Yeah.
a little bit more serious, but using your own time to
Yeah.
learn and practice.
And let me tell you, like, for people that do it this way as well, like, it's fucking hard. It is. And it's been a long,
And scary.
scary road. and there still are times when it's like that, but I love what I do, and I'm not going to change that for anything. And I could never see myself, not that there's anything wrong with it, because people love their jobs whatever they do, but I could never see myself in a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday again.
Nice. Very good.
What about you?
Me? I feel like mine feels like I started the production life from a very young age. So I'm not going to bore you with the...
So Christ, we're going to get 30 minutes of stories now.
I remember I was 7 years old and my dad... I'm not going to go into...
I woke up.
I remember when my father was young.
I remember being in the
Can we
womb.
just talk about me again?
I was 7 and my dad... Like we used to have movie nights all the time. And then my dad was like talking about Titanic. And
Do you like Titanic?
I'm glad you asked. I fucking love Titanic. And
The disaster or the film?
the disaster, of course. Anyway, we were watching that and I was blown away by the way the film was made. And I was just like, how the hell did they film this ship go down? And I remember we had to pause it at one point because someone came into the house and I was there just like desperate for this film to start again. Anyway, we finished it. After that, I became obsessed, was going on YouTube, and I would get my dad to take me to bookstores and I would get filmmaking books and I was like reading all about it and just became obsessed with James Cameron and set design and everything that he did. And then I remember going into school and we got asked the classic, like, what do you want to do when you're older? I said filmmaking. I think I said filmmaking. I remember some kids laughed, I don't know why, and one of the teachers was like, oh, that's really interesting, blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of like made me think it's clearly like not a everyday kind of job that you want to do. Anyway, that grew into like a big like want for me. And then my dad heard of someone who's a low budget film director, and I got to have a chat with him, and then he got me involved in a project, and then he introduced me to, I can't remember his name, this line producer, and I got to go on this movie set with Maggie Gyllenhaal and
Oh, wow.
which was really cool. And I got to see like set design and blah blah blah, and then just instantly fell in love with it. So then school, like media, college, did BTEC media. Wasn't allowed to do photography or film studies because I didn't have maths, which again makes absolutely no sense.
What?
I know. Anyway, made no sense.
So you're doing media, but they won't let you pick up a camera
Yeah,
because
it was
you don't have
really,
maths.
it was so odd. And then whilst we were filming our final production, which I also did a music video for, to Kaleo, All I Want.
I tried to fist bump you, but you left me hanging.
Oh,
so
did
I just
you?
did myself.
And then whilst filming that, stumbled across a film set that's going on in Chertsey for that film One Wish, I think it is,
Okay.
with James Corden. And then from then just started like working on film sets, and I would just ask everyone, anyone in any department that would talk to me about how things worked and stuff like that. There was a few bumpy, what's the word? Paths?
Few bumps.
Few bumps along the
Few
road.
bumps along the road, that's the saying.
Few bumpy bumps.
Which I won't go into now, but learn a lot on kind of what you need in place before going on different productions and what's involved and stuff like that. So I picked up a lot in all different departments, and then slowly grew in the film industry, like, and got to do assistant directing and blah blah in certain shoots. And then it got to a point where I remember speaking to someone and they were like saying just how long it takes to become a director if you're sticking to like the traditional paths. And I just got to a point where I was like, do you know what? I can't bother to like work for the same people I was working for, and I don't want to wait because I know I can tell stories.
Yeah.
So then I just started like writing on my own, did a film course at Met Film School, met some cool people there, learned all about script writing, shot list, storyboarding, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously met you. And then we started, obviously, Ellis Gray. And then I got to put everything that I'd already learned into practice. And then, and then here we are. That's cutting it really short. There's so many.
No, I
bits
like
out
it
of
though.
this, but
Yeah.
Cutting it so short.
because there's so many bits in there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot.
Told very well.
Thank you. But yeah, I did other jobs as well, like digital marketing, blah, blah, blah. But jumping from actually, do you know, you and Adele, my wife, took me into the freelance world because I was doing digital marketing and I was getting so fed up that I was also getting really tired because obviously we were doing Ellis Gray alongside it, and losing weekends and evenings and blah, blah. And then you were talking about Sky and I was like, is there ever they ever need another editor? And you, on the off chance, just messaged your line manager, didn't you? And then he replied saying, did he say like, when can she start or something like that? And I was like, what? So then Adele, I was going on, I think I spoke about it in one of the previous episodes, but I was going on a walk/meeting with my boss. And Adele was like, don't come back unless you quit your job, because Sky was already lined up. And I was like, do you know what? It's safe for me to do this jump. So I did it, handed in my notice, and then immediately started Sky. And by starting Sky, it also freed up a lot of time to be able to do Ellis Gray. And if that didn't happen, I mean, yeah, you basically pulled me into the
You're
freelance
so
world.
welcome. You're so welcome.
I should also mention we all work for Sky. I missed that part
Yeah.
out too. And you're right, it does. It frees you up to focus on other things because, you know, the money was good for just being able to work 1 or 2 days, and then just being able to set aside days where you know you're not going to make any money to focus on
That's
Yeah.
the
what
key.
you want to do. Yeah,
It's really easy, and which is what happened with me at the start, is to get sucked into like, but if I just keep working, I keep making money, and then I have more money.
yeah,
And then you don't have that free time to do your other stuff. So
yeah,
it's almost like showing yourself. Obviously, freelancing, as it's not secure work, gets paid more. So you need to convince yourself, like, this is what I need to make to then be able to pursue my own things. And then you go and do that many days, and then
Yeah.
you dedicate the rest to pushing yourself, because otherwise you just get stuck. And that is probably why it took me until, mid-30s really, until I was like, now I can move into
yeah,
production. Obviously, we met. You're younger than me, so I was further down the line when we met. So obviously, that's just timing how it all worked out. But it took me ages to be like, no. Even when we were going, you had to say to me a few times, like, when are you doing Ellis Gray? Because I was just kept taking on Sky work and trying to juggle that. I was burning myself out. So yeah, you're so right. It's like using that time to, like, these are the days I need to cover my bills and pay the mortgage or rent, and then these days I'm going to dedicate to perfecting my craft and getting my own clients and pushing that, and then hopefully down the line you can start moving all the way into that, and then that's just.
and it's hard. But on those days that you're working on your own business, wake up at normal work hours and start at normal work hours,
And have a separation, because I feel
Yeah.
like if you're just getting out of bed and sitting at a desk in your room, that's
Yeah.
not it. You need to like take yourself out of the room, work in a coffee shop or just somewhere separate.
yeah,
So it's not feeling like you're just in the same space continuously. Like you need that. Do you know what I mean?
and full
Reset.
circle again, enjoy it. Like, you know, we've spoken about how on the days sometimes where you find really, really tough, and then you remind yourself, this is actually really cool that I'm working on a project that I've filmed and that I'm going to make money from. So actually it doesn't feel like work. So enjoy those days where you're looking for work, creating projects, whatever it is, where it feels like, oh God, I'm not getting paid for it. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
this
utilise that
this is
time.
really cool that you get to like take a day
Yeah,
and create something that, you know, that's yours.
100%. Before we wrap up this episode, I just want to ask each of you individually. So, from your own experience with the own path you took to get to where you are now, what would be your advice to anyone starting out or looking to make that jump to the freelance world?
I'd say the biggest thing is just to back yourself. It's really daunting, but if you've got the talent to do it, then there's nothing really stopping you. Like, use your connections, speak to the people you know in the industry who you might have done work for when you were salaried or on staff, and reach out to them, because most places outsource because they don't need those people 100% of the time, so then they always outsource to add extra people to their team for smaller. Use those connections. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid of rejection, because you will get it. It will happen in this industry. A lot of people maybe don't want to spend the money, but if you don't ask, you don't get. So
100%.
Back yourself, back your skill set, and just, if that's what you want to do, if you want to work for yourself. Like, I was kind of forced into it because the contract I had at Sky wasn't going to be renewed because there wasn't the budget for it. I was, like I said, I was on a sabbatical, so I just was told there's no job for you. And I was like, but at the last minute, so I had to quickly figure it out and go freelance and just go, right, I know I'm good at this. I have to go freelance anyway, so I'm just going to hammer everyone and try and get as many jobs as I can. And that's how I did it. Spoke to people I knew, just sent emails, got into that. So that's the biggest thing for me, is just back yourself. If you're good enough, you won't have a problem.
My advice is literally pretty much the same, in the sense that don't ever think that your situation is not going to work out. You know, like it's so easy to look so far into the future and think there's no way that could possibly be an option for me as a career. But I think we've said it in this podcast, all our individual stories and how we got here. And I think they're very, very different, and we've all come from very different backgrounds, and look where we are today. So that's kind of it. I don't need to say any more, really.
Nice. My advice would be...
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Brooke, what would your advice be?
Thank you for asking. My advice would be to throw yourself out there and ask all the questions, speak to everyone. I know, like, for some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, and it's a little bit more difficult for some people to do that. But like you said, if you don't ask, you don't get. Ask all the questions. It's fine not to know stuff. Like, there's no point if, say, you're on a film set or you're somewhere and camera's being operated, rather than just acting like you know exactly what's going on, ask, like, what does that do? What does this button do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey!
Why are you using this? Why are you using that? Because it does help speed up that process of understanding, like, what is going on. And I'd also say, before making that jump to going freelance, just have a bit of a plan in advance. So, like, talking to people, try and line up some work just to get you going. It's just a little bit of that safety net, so that when you do make that jump, you know you've got a little bit of money coming in. You're going to be making connections and networking through those jobs anyway. You don't fail if you're not getting work in. You only fail the second you stop trying. So I think when you do go freelance, don't drop the ball and just presume work's going to come to you. You have to put in that effort, work hard, and then it will start to come in. And everything does work out. But
It does.
You just have to push and back yourself.
I'd say a great thing, I was just going to pick up when you said, like, do a bit of shadowing. Like, it's
Yes,
maybe it's a bit
100%.
annoying to, like, go and do stuff unpaid when there's not much money coming in, but it's a great way to meet people who are already established in the industry. Like, go on, especially like you've been on shoots with people, with, like, Sky cameramen who have been in it for years, and then they get to know you, and then they recommend you for things. And, like,
Exactly.
if you're ever trying to get a job, they go, oh, I know them, and, like, they were good fun, they worked well, blah blah blah. So do that, do some shadowing, do a bit of work experience, as it was like.
And
there will be good and there will be bad, but like you said, you'll look back and go, that was a great learning curve.
Yeah, and
like, I did that for free and it was rubbish and I hated it, but then you did another one that was for free and you loved it. So
And it also opened your eyes to what's available within the industry, because I think sometimes you can go in being like, I want to be a camera operator, but then you're exposed to rigging and all the different roles within production that actually you might be interested in. And you can learn a little bit more on that, and your path might change, which I think is exciting.
love it.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. That was nice, and it was actually really nice to, I think, talk about that in a little bit more depth, because obviously we know each other's backgrounds to a degree, but we've never really gone
Yeah, there are
that deep into it.
definitely things I didn't know at all. And I still need to see the full video of
That's going to go up.
your presenting. Thank you and
No.
bye.